as much as you're a Chiefs fan, you'd love Mahomes to have another fistful of rings by the time he retires.
Yeah.
If these guys retired tomorrow, and Kelce may be close to doing that, you never have to look back and say that they wasted their careers.
It's that football show here on KC Sports. I'm Tucker Franklin, hanging out with Matt Verderame for your Friday edition of that football show. Thank you to our partners, Bid Holiday, Bottled and Bond Bourbon. You're going to make sure you want a lot of that on hand as you watch the Chiefs take on the Tennessee Titans this weekend. Matt, how you doing?
Good. As I've been saying for the last month and change, they're better than the Chiefs, and it's certainly better than the Titans.
I'm gonna keep it going. I think we just got to keep that one going. Just like the bit that we have, like I have for like throwing the break. You say Chiefs. I think we always have to say better than the Chiefs.
Well, yeah, at least until it's not true anymore.
Right. Until
which is we got time. Is this the ultimate audition for Matt Nagy? Like, do we see a crazy game script from the Chiefs?
Wow, that's a great point.
Because Matt Nagy's just doing like the peacock strut for Borgonzi here. Like, hey, look at what I can do. How infuriating would that be if the Chiefs roll out like an unbelievable scheme in this game and score like 45 points for Gardner Minshew? That would be fun. I saw a tweet. Crap season.
Oh, it really would be. I saw a tweet from my buddy Platinum Sombrero on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
He tweeted out about how Matt Nagy has got Alex Smith to play like Alex Smith, right? He had gotten Mitch Trubisky to somehow also play like Alex Smith, and then he also
Patrick Mahomes play Alex Smith.
Patrick Mahomes will play like Alex Smith. So there's only one assumption, is that Gardner Minshew is going to play like Alex Smith. I think that's could be all that the Chiefs can hope for if they want to win this game even.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah. I mean, I am thoroughly prepared mentally for just being infuriated in a game that means nothing.
Right.
Like,
100%.
Don't even care if they win or lose. It'll just be like they'll play Bossa and they'll have 21 tackles.
Yeah.
Like Fred Warner. They're great. Glad he sat on the bench the whole season. That's great. Thanks.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
It is also very funny. There's a couple of things I think are very funny. But the first thing I think is very funny that the Chiefs are in a position where there is a potential where they could have a top 10 pick, right? Like there is possibilities that they could have a top 10 pick, but they happen to play in these last 3 games of the season 2 of the worst teams in the league, though the Titans and the Raiders. I mean, like the time where you want them to lose, they are playing 2 of the maybe worst franchises. Well, the Bengals are one of them. 2 of the worst 3 franchises. Let's say that. We will get to the Bengals. This is going to be our weekly.
The Dolphins. That's an arrow there.
That's a pretty bad franchise too. The other thing I think would be funny, Matt, is if they do come out and play really good, the Chiefs do, and the offense looks good, right? Gardner Minshew's humming. What would be really funny if Andy Reid gets to the podium and be like, yeah, I got to really credit Matt for that one. Matt was calling the plays. Remember what he did with Doug Peterson and tried to get Doug Peterson a job? He just does that with Matt Nagy, trying to get him a job so he doesn't have to fire him, basically.
It should be shameless. It should be like, it should be to the point where Andy walks to the podium and is like, look, we think so highly of Matt that we're going to leave him here.
Right.
The Titans can interview him perpetually for the next 3 months. It wouldn't be fair to the world not to give him another opportunity to coach a team.
No.
I mean, listen, like I said, the people on Twitter, Chiefs fans, the PR campaign behind Nagy should be generational.
Yeah,
it should be studied in textbooks moving forward. Like when there's like a poli-sci, 300 class in college, and they're talking about Kennedy's presidential campaign in 1960 and the little jingle he did. Like,
yep. Mm-hmm.
This should be mentioned alongside that. Like, Chiefs fans got together and got Matt Nagy a 12-year contract with the Titans based on 3 weeks of endlessly tweeting about how Nagy is basically Vince Lombardi with a beard. Yeah. And if Chiefs Kingdom fails in that regard, then they've failed in a way that may impact the team for years to come.
We need to create a lot of pro Matt Nagy propaganda to target to just Nashville, Tennessee.
Just show like 2018 clips and be like, I don't care if he was in Chicago.
Right.
You'd be like, this was Matt Nagy's doing. Matt Nagy is responsible for this. Like, just dub him into different highlights.
Right.
Yeah, but this is him. I don't care who it was on the sideline. Just say it was him.
It's the clip that's going viral and around from the Super Bowl, right? Of Patrick Mahomes asking Eric Bieniemy if he can run Wasp, and everyone's like, he had to ask Bieniemy this. Who he didn't ask Andy Reid this. Like, people aren't using critical thinking in it, right?
Correct.
But just Photoshop, somehow edit that. Can we get AI to put Matt Nagy there instead and be like, wow, he was asking Matt Nagy to run this play?
Yes. In fact, actually, if you're going to AI that, just do it where Nagy's asking Mahomes, like, hey, do you want to run Wasp? Like, because I think we have time here.
Put Mahomes in the headset for the AI. Yeah.
Like, Nagy called it and ran it. Right. Like it should be, it's just an all-encompassing effort from Nagy.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can get there. We can get there, guys.
We can. I believe in the kingdom.
I do too. Before we get too deep into Patrick Mahomes and his injury and all the new information we had since the last time we recorded, I need to congratulate you, Matt, because
why?
Because there's a title in New York. New York brought home a sports title with the NBA Cup. The Knicks are the NBA Cup champions. They beat my Magic in the Eastern Conference Finals. There's probably revenge for Bane just chucking the ball at OG. Fair enough. It was kind of funny. I mean, I will not lie. It's kind of funny, but the Knicks bring down the Spurs. And I texted you when it happened. I was expecting to see some La Cup merch here. But are you going to buy any NBA Cup champion merch, Matt?
I would rather throw myself in front of a truck than walk around. We won the cup. The proudest moment I've had of the Knicks in the last 25 years was them putting out a statement that they're not raising a banner.
Oh, they're not?
No. If they raised a banner, I'd stop rooting for the team. Like, you cannot. And I know, like, the Lakers did it.
Yeah.
It's one of the most embarrassing. Bro, you're the fucking Lakers.
Inaugural cup, though.
I don't give a shit what it is. It's terrible.
Jordan never won any in the NBA Cup.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, the Knicks.
LeBron's got on them.
Cool, they won it. Couldn't care any less. Win the thing that matters, which is going to be tough because Oklahoma City's 24-2 currently.
Dude, they are. I texted a couple of buddies when I was watching. I can't remember what game it was, but Oklahoma City was like on national TV one time, I think. Maybe it was a prime game. Yeah, I watched them. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, this team's, no one's losing to this team. So I don't know how they lost to the Spurs. I don't know if they just didn't try in that game or what happened, but yeah, that team's nuts. They might beat the Warriors record for wins. I know they're on pace for like net rating or whatever they call it.
And like, I actually think the Knicks might get to the finals. Like,
for sure.
I think the Knicks might be the best team in the Eastern Conference. I know Detroit's 21-5, but like, please.
Detroit.
Yeah, my God, it's enough out of Detroit. We saw them the last year in the playoffs and took them out in gentleman's sweep. So, by the way, like, speaking of cities that just no one wants to visit, Cleveland, what the hell? Like 15-13.
Yeah, man, that's disappointing for them.
But yeah, listen, I mean, the Knicks 18-7, Cup champions, scoring 121 a night, just rolling offensively. But it's it is what it is. It's the Knicks. I'm thoroughly prepared to be let down at some point, but it's nice that they're doing something because none of my other teams are doing anything. So it's good. It's good that the Knicks are keeping me afloat, which is a sentence I wouldn't have ever thought I would have said. So here we are. That
is kind of crazy that the Knicks are responsible for your happiness right now,
which is also the sheer terror.
Yeah.
Because they were responsible for our happiness last year, and they beat the Celtics in the playoffs. I was like, oh my God, like they're finally going to do it. And then they just blew like a 37-point lead in a minute to Halliburton. I'm like, all right, we're done.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, that's tough.
There's nothing worse than Reggie Miller being all happy. Like, God, nothing is worse. Nothing is worse than that man's happiness as a Knicks fan.
Speaking of teams with catastrophic injuries that kind of derailed their season, in the Indiana Pacers. The Kansas City Chiefs also had a pretty catastrophic injury to their quarterback. Patrick Mahomes did have surgery on the ACL. There was LCL damage. I believe Rick Burkholder on, what was that, Wednesday, came to the podium, talked a little bit about it, gave us a little bit more information of, man, they sent him down there for the second opinion with Dr. Cooper. He had surgery, and he was out of there, like, I think it was like 6 p.m. He was already done with surgery or something like that. So he was in and out of there when it came with the surgery. The LCL damage is not an uncommon thing to happen with ACL injuries, from my understanding, like just because of the placement of the ligaments and everything. I had a good conversation with Aaron Borgman, Rehab All-Star on Twitter. He has his own Sports Med Bros podcast. Like, he has been in the trenches for a lot of, like, he's a 12-year NFL athletic trainer and physical therapist. Like, he's been in the trenches. He's been on the sideline in Kansas City and Philadelphia. He's in NFL Europe for a little bit too. He has his own now, Borgman Rehab Solutions is what he has now in the Kansas City area. So he specializes in these types of injuries and like what the rehab process is. Kind of had a conversation about him and how the whole process was going to evolve for Mahomes, and usual processes, the surgical and as well as rehab processes for it. So go check that out if you guys do have some time. I think it's only about I think it's about 14 minutes on YouTube, might be 17 on the audio podcast with because it's a little bit of a longer cut on the audio podcast, spoiler alert, but video is out there now. You can see how a knee works and learn that way. But Mahomes starting the rehab now, and it sounds like from Rick Burkholder's estimations, 9 months is about kind of what they're anticipating. Obviously, he said with the caveat of, sometimes these things go quick, so it could be a couple months before, or they could take long, so it could be a couple months after. But everything seems to be on track mathematically for Patrick Mahomes to be back as the quarterback week 1 of next year.
So, look, Twitter has been just, as always,
probably
educational and just ablaze with opinions that people are like just beholden to as if they've gone to medical school for 10 years.
Sure.
Listen, I think the only thing you can come out of it saying that is, okay, you had the surgery, it's successful, which, I mean, I can't remember the last time they did a surgery on an athlete. Some guy came out, I was like, not successful.
I did not do good. I did horrible here.
Do a good job. I would not recommend coming to me for future surgeries because this was a catastrophe. But shockingly, and thankfully, of course, successful. The one thing I found very interesting about this that is different, and Adam Schefter also mentioned this, but I got to say, I had the thought independently, was that normally when a guy gets that kind of an injury, the surgery is delayed a couple weeks, 10, 14 days. Yeah. Mahomes basically had it like in a 24-hour period. And then, according to Burkholder, was already rehabbing it. Yeah. As he put it, first thing Tuesday morning. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know what, I don't know what the hell rehab looks like 48 hours out from a major knee injury. But I think it speaks to there's an urgency on his end. Like, I'm not just sitting around, which, by the way, and this is where I want to take this. If you're Brett Veach and you're looking at your quarterback who just suffered a torn ACL and is like already basically, and I'm obviously being over the top here, but like is already jogging 48 hours later, right?
Yeah.
You're going to look at that guy and be like, listen, we're thinking about a retool year in 2020. You can't, and this, I've been saying this on Twitter for 3 days, and I've had dopes yelling at me about like, no, they've got to just sit him down for 2020. It's like, buddy, they're not sitting him. This isn't mad. You're not simming the season. Okay. No. Like, he's going to try to do everything he can to be there for the entirety of the season. And I got to tell you, if they're sitting around going, I don't know, maybe we'll just go 8-9 next year and just retool like that. There's no world that's happening. And to me, he's setting a tone for himself, but he's also sending a message that like, I am coming back. I will be there. Like, bet on it. And so if you're getting that message from that guy, you have to act in kind.
I think so. And that's why when we talk about kind of the future of this team and how they build it, there is, I think, a sense of urgency too on Brett Veach's part, as you mentioned. But I think the sense of urgency from like Patrick Mahomes' part to get surgery is really interesting. That's one of the things I asked Aaron Borgman about. I was like, okay, when can you have surgery? When are you able to get surgery? And it has a lot to do with swelling, right? Yes. And the way that he said, Aaron said this in the podcast, is the way that the Chiefs work is that as soon as they knew and they did the stability test and they knew what it was,
right,
they put him in a compression thing and a compression brace, let's call it a compression brace to reduce swelling. They take him into the MRI, have the MRI done. And at that point, they're doing everything they can to reduce swelling so they can go in and do that surgery. And everyone's different when it comes to that. Like, some people swell up really big. Like, when you roll your ankle, you could swell up a whole lot. And some people, if they roll their ankle, they don't swell up at all, right? So people are different with swelling. And from my understanding, Patrick's not a big sweller when it comes to this. So I think that also was a big benefit of this. And I think they did whatever they could to keep the swelling down as well. So they could look, they knew they were up against the clock. And like, when that injury happened, everyone was like, okay, we're up against the clock here when it comes down to it. And I think that there was a real sense of urgency on everyone's end to make sure that Patrick was good to go for week 1 of next year. And from my understanding, that's what the team believes. So the team believes that he'll be good to go week 1 next year. I mean, look, Rick Burkholder went up there and basically said that, like, that's our goal. Like, the goal is week 1 next year. And look, these things are not, every injury is different. And I think that's another part, Matt, about this on Twitter, is that everyone was just like, oh, well, my uncle tore his knee and it took him 14 months to rehab.
Yeah, I love these people. I've seen people even like, well, I tore my meniscus in a rec league basketball game.
Right. It's
like, yeah, great. I'm going to go ahead and say that you don't have the same level of care and or muscle buildup already that Patrick Mahomes does. Like, yeah, you work in your 9 to 5 as an accountant and playing a little rec league on the side. I'm guessing your muscle density probably not the same as an NFL quarterback.
Right.
Like, I do appreciate those people who just genuinely don't see the difference.
Right.
Like, oh, yeah, we're the same person. Yes, we're the exact same person.
Sure. We're the same age.
Yeah, right. Age. Yeah. Like we're both men. And we're 30. It's like, great. And one of you can bench press the other one. Right. It's like if Derrick Henry rolled an ankle. And I was like, I too have rolled an ankle. And we're the same. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah. No, that was part of the reason that the thought process behind having Aaron on to kind of set some stuff straight in terms of, and it's hard to speak in specifics with Aaron, who knows a lot of like the generalities when it comes to that. So we kind of spoke in generalities in that podcast a little bit. And he obviously, he would have to, be treating Mahomes to speak specifically on that injury. Right. So I think we go into great detail. If you want more information there, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think it's a very good podcast for people to learn the basics of knee injuries. Because literally, Matt, my first question was like, how does a knee work? Like, we hear ACL, we hear MCL all the time. What the hell are those? Right. Tell me about those. And so like, we really break it down. Remember Coach Kip Murphy? Those videos, so he hitting dingers when he says, I'm going to break it down from a fundamental standpoint. Yeah. That's kind of what we did. We got real basic with it. I was like, how does the knee work? I was like, okay, how do you tear this?
It's like you're probably too young for this reference. Although you're online enough to maybe, I'm trying to think of the guy's first name. It was like Robin Mansky it was like the baseball, like tutorials on how to like play baseball. And those commercials were on constantly. I'm pulling it up right now. Okay. They were on constantly. And like Fred McGriff was in them. They were Tom Amansky's defensive drills. And it was just like, and like, it's so funny because you look back and it's just like Fred McGriff out in the outfield just throwing a baseball into a garbage can. It's like, you do this, you're going to the pros. And it's like an 8-year-old. So I was like, damn, I bet I could throw a baseball into a garbage.
Right.
Yeah. And I'd go outside to like my dad's like 40-gallon like leaf thing and just try to throw a baseball in there. I did it like once out of every like 10 tries. I was like, I could do this. And as it turns out, I couldn't do it. So Tom Amansky, you owe me money.
Yeah, Tom.
Yeah. But in any event, no, listen, I mean, I think everybody who knows anything about this stuff has talked about the fact that basically it's a round, give or take, a 9-month timeline. Well, 9 months is going to put you literally at week 1.
Right.
So, can he beat that timeline out? Can he even get into a little training camp action just to kind of knock off the rust? Or is it like he is just like coming right into, hey, I'm just there week 1?
Yeah, that'd be crazy, by the way.
Yeah, like I'm just there week 1. Okay, who knows, right? But it'll be fascinating. The one guy we also don't know who's going to be there week 1 is Mr. Kelce.
Yeah. He had a comment on the New Heights podcast on, what was it day? Wednesday when it came out? Wednesday. He had a quote that kind of caused a stir in Chiefs Kingdom. And I talked about this on my stream a little bit. I'll read you the quote of what he said. Travis said this is on Patrick Mahomes' torn ACL and LCL injury on his show, New Heights, obviously. He said he's a fearless warrior when it comes to this football thing. He's going to make sure he comes back stronger than ever, and hopefully the Chiefs can get him back as soon as possible. And it was that last sentence there, Matt, that caught a lot of people's attention where, wait a second. Why is he talking in third person? I'll say third person in air quotes there about his team, the team that he's on. Now, how come that's going on? How come he says the Chiefs and not a lot of time? A lot of times when he's talking about like the game recaps that they usually do on the podcast, he's like, yeah, we could have done this thing better. We could have done a lot this better. We could have done this. But how come this one's the Chiefs?
It's very interesting, right? I mean, you can't help but notice that when he says it.
Sure. It's stuck out like a sore thumb. Yeah.
It's not it's the Chiefs. Going into the season, I think like a lot of people, I figure like this is definitely his last year.
Yeah, 100%.
And then, to his credit, he slimmed down. He seemed to kind of right some wrongs from the year prior, and he's played really well for the most part this season. Like he might be an all-pro. He might be a second-team all-pro this year behind McBride, which is incredible. He's going to be a Pro Bowler. I'd be shocked if he's not that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, an incredible job by Kelce. And as the season unfolded, especially when they were in the midst of playing well, I was like, okay, well, maybe he'll just come back. Like they're playing so well. And I know there's been a lot of speculation. And listen, I have no idea what Travis Kelce's thinking. Okay. I'm not blowing up his phone. Like, hey, bro. Like, yeah. But, I'm sure to the shock of everyone.
Right.
But I've seen a lot of people say like, well, he's getting married now and, who knows if they want to start a family. And I don't want to speak, of course, for him, but I don't know that would be the ultimate decision maker. Like, it's not like he and Taylor Swift are just going to hang out at the house. Like it's like, just to hang out now, and like she's gonna bake like a loaf of sourdough bread, and he's gonna do a puzzle, like smoke.
That'd be kind of sick, though. I mean, that would be cool.
Would be sick.
Mm-hmm.
No, she's a big fan of doing that, but like the reality is, they're extremely in demand, busy people, and so there's a part of me that says like I don't know that it, like even if they got, because I believe they're gonna get married in July, right?
Yeah, that's sometime in the summer. Yeah.
So it's like, all right, like even if they got married immediately, we're like, we're having a kid. I mean, I don't know how familiar everybody is with the process of having a child, but like it takes 9 months from conception. So it's not like she's giving birth in October. And so there's a party that's like, I don't know that it would be a massive, like, oh, he, if they want to have a family, that's just it. Then there's no football. Now, look, he might also say, look, I just want to spend time with my wife and I'm going to pursue some other things and God bless, right? Go with God, go do it.
Sure.
I guess my point is, I think it's going to be a football / like how I feel physically decision. And you wonder after this year if he's just kind of like, you know what? I'm all set. This sucked. I'm 36 years old. I have nothing left to prove. And if I come back next year, we're probably better. But do I really want to go through another camp at St. Joe and another season? Like, what if Patrick's not back to start the year and we're 0-3 by the time he's back? Yeah. And we're just fighting uphill the whole season. And what if this coaching staff doesn't change and we're just going through the same crap next year? Like, I could see him coming back, and I could also see him saying, like, I've had it. And I guess at the beginning of the year, I felt like he was just definitely done after this. And after the way he talked and how he also talked later in the pod, I think it was later in the pod, about, like, how much these next 3 games mean to him.
Mm-hmm.
kind of got the feeling that this is it. But I'm not him. I don't know.
And that's the thing for me is that I think you did a good job kind of encapsulating of like coming into the season. I think we all were like, oh yeah, no, like this is it. Like the Brazil game happened and you're like, oh yeah, no, like this is for sure. And then he started to like play good and you're like, well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. But you know what? I know this probably isn't the way. Probably is not the way he wants to go out, right? He probably should have went out 2 years ago if he wanted to go out the right way, right? And
screaming at Andy, almost causing an altercation and winning the Super Bowl.
Right, and then winning the Super Bowl, going out as a back-to-back winner. That's probably how he should have gone out, but you can't fault him for wanting to come back and try to three-peat. You can't fault him for wanting to come back after the way the three-peat ended. Like, I understand the thought process every single step of the way of him coming back and playing. But at this point, like, I don't know if I fault him for coming back. If he come back next year, I'd only be like, Travis, you shouldn't do that because like it's Travis Kelce, he can do whatever the fuck he wants at this point. But it's like this thought process is not as clear as the previous years of coming back, if that makes sense. Yeah,
and again, I don't know what else there is to prove at this point. Not that there was anything coming into this year, but listen, I'm gonna take us a different direction because I think this is a really like kind of an important thing. By the way, one thing I would note, he's 62 yards away from 13,000 for his career.
That's a crazy
I would imagine he'd like to get to that.
It's a crazy number.
But growing up a Chiefs fan, he was starting in 93. Like I was 5 years old. And since 1993, up until this current run, so a 25-year stretch in the middle there, like Chiefs had a lot of great players. And not like a Montana who passed through town, like guys who are like Chiefs, like guys, the Tom Bali's of the world and the Derek Johnsons and the Eric Berrys and the Jamal Charleses and of course Derek Thomas.
Yes.
And Priest Holmes and on and on and on and on. Tony Gonzalez. And the one thing that always is a fan of the team always haunted me. And I felt the same way about Patrick Ewing with the Knicks. It's like, man, you were that great of a player and they never won. And like, I hate to say you wasted a guy's career because, listen, a career is a career and the guy had accolades and you'd hope a great time while they were playing. But from a championship standpoint, as a Chiefs fan, I always felt like, and they have all these guys, they couldn't even get the AFC championship game. Like, they just never threatened. They never did anything. Jared Allen he sucked. Like, they just always sucked. And it was like, and even when they were good, they were never good in a way that, like, really mattered. And, the beautiful thing about Kelce, Mahomes, Chris Jones, as much as you're a Chiefs fan, you'd love Mahomes to have another fistful of rings by the time he retires.
Yeah.
If these guys retired tomorrow, and Kelce may be close to doing that, you never have to look back and say that they wasted their careers. Like, they accomplished not only winning, but winning at the highest level, being one of the greatest teams of all time. Like, I always kind of feel, and maybe I'm alone in this, maybe other fans would identify with this, I always kind of feel sadness when I see Jamal Charles. Like, there's like, as much as I loved watching, there's always a part of me, man, they failed that guy.
Yeah.
They sucked around that guy forever.
Yeah.
They didn't fail these guys. They didn't fail. Like, Travis Kelce can retire and know that, like, his career wasn't in vain. All that work wasn't in vain. Like, they did. And I've spent a lot of time the last couple of days, now that this team is out of it and just garbage, reflecting on the last 7 years and thinking about, like, just everything they've done. And, like, all the incredible moments, all the great wins, the championships. And I've thought a lot about Travis Kelce in that regard because Travis Kelce was there before Mahomes, before Chris Jones.
Yeah.
And when you think about the dynasty, when you think about the Chiefs dynasty 20 years from now, the guy you're always going to have, most synonymous with it is Mahomes. Sure. Like, he's always going to be that epicenter of it. It'll take a nanosecond to then think about Kelce. Like, I would argue that he's more synonymous with it in a lot of ways than Andy is. And like, because you can't talk about Mahomes without talking about Kelce. Like, as great as Rice was, and of course, Jerry Rice, greatest receiver of all time, Montana won 4 Super Bowls. He won 2 of them with Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
You know, Brady, like, who do you make him synonymous with? Is it Gronk? Is it Edelman? Is it Moss? I mean, never one of them, Moss or Welker. Like,
yeah, it's true.
You know, like, and those guys are all-time pairings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Manning to Harrison, they won 1 together. Like, they won 1. Mahomes and Kelce won all 3 of theirs together. Kind of almost like Aikman and Irvin.
I was about to say.
Like, when you think of the Cowboys, you think of those 3 guys.
Right. Yeah.
When you think of the Chiefs, I'm telling you, like, you're going to think of those 3, like with Chris Jones. Like, you're going to think of those 3 guys. And, you know, because they did it all together. Now, of course, look, Mahomes may have 10 years left, and if he wins 3 more Super Bowls, maybe there's another guy you also think of him, you know, with. But, you know, Sky Moore. But it gets paid. Make sure you're paying attention. But it's
You got me.
Yeah. But there's a beauty in the fact that they didn't waste it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't ever have to look back, and when they're doing the Ring of Honor ceremony, going, oh fuck, how did they never win with that guy? Like, they did. Like, if they build a statue of Travis Kelce, it's probably going to be from some game that they won in the playoffs or the Super Bowl, or like it's going to be some iconic moment. Like, you know, and I think often, you know, we've talked about this. Like, if you're a Bills fan, a Ravens fan, a Bengals, you're having a heart attack. Like, are we not going to win with this guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like, you can rest easy at night if you're a Chiefs fan. They did it. You never have to worry about it. And I think there's something with Kelce that if he retires, it's easier knowing that.
Yeah.
Than if you went, oh my God, you know, they never won with this dude. Like, there's a certain piece in that.
I've seen a lot of people have said this to me when, I don't know if you saw the edit I've made of the picture of me at the Colts game. I think I sent you the picture at the time of like the interception where I'm just like distraught. It was after Mahomes threw the interception on the RPO, the first like time they had the football. It was right in front of my face, and I just took a picture of my face during that game, and I made the graphic that says "bummed out." I've shared that graphic, and I had some people respond to be like, "Oh, you're saying all these Chiefs fans saying that they're upset that they lost and they're not thankful for what's happened." And I talked about this a little bit on Everything Else with Joshua Briscoe. The fact that everything on social media is so black and white, and this kind of goes to your point a little bit too. The fact that everything is so black and white when it's like, okay, you're either upset or you're thankful. There's no you can't be both at the same time. That's not true at all. As human beings, we are complex individuals. You can feel multiple feelings at the same time. I'm bummed out because I'm so thankful, right? I'm so thankful for what the Chiefs have had and how they have maximized what they have had. You know how many football teams have a collection of really good players and don't win 3 Super Bowls with it? Right? Like they have maximized nearly every single run that they've had. And it's, yes. It's something to me where we are so bummed out about obviously how this Chiefs season had ended. How, you know, Patrick Mahomes' injury makes it even more that much of a bummer, right? And more than just missing the playoffs. Because I think you and I at least had just come to the terms already before that Chargers game started that they weren't making the playoffs, right? They lost to the Texans. It was over at that point. Really, they lost to the Broncos. It was kind of over at that point.
The Jags. The Chargers the first time.
When Patrick Mahomes threw the ball to Devin Lloyd at the goal line, that was when it was over. And arguably might have been over when Isaiah Pacheco ran the route the wrong way against the Giants. That's maybe when we knew we should have had an inkling that it was over.
He somehow won that game going away.
Dude, I think about that game a lot, like probably more than I should.
That game is one of the worst played football games I've ever witnessed. Russell Wilson just wailing it out of bounds.
Fourth down, just all right here. How's the fourth row for this one?
One of the greatest 4-play sequences you'll ever witness in your life. Just 4 balls just bombed out of the end zone. Like, way to fight, man. Way to give him a chance. Oh, my God.
I got to go back and watch that game, I think, just to see how ridiculous that football game was. And then you had not the Rasheed Rice, because Rasheed Rice was
going toward the finger up in the air.
Point up in the air.
Oh,
Man.
God, that was like when the season actually was about to be fun for about a month and a half.
It was, but like that's what I'm frustrated with people's response of being like, we can be very thankful for what happened and also bummed out too of like how it all kind of, I don't want to say ended because I really don't like, here's the other thing, Matt, is like, I don't know if like I don't think the dynasty's over. I think it's hard to necessarily put into words like I don't think it's come to a completion because it's going to depend on how they do next year. I think next year is going to be the big year of like, okay, you guys have playoffs in this stretch. Like, yeah, it's tough, but I don't necessarily think that it's over. It's near. It's going to depend on how next year, for me at least. I think it's going to be depending on how next year goes.
Yeah, I think that's fair. This iteration of it, especially if Kelce retires.
Yes, this era. We can call it, yeah.
I mean, I think it's hard because when they lost, so people forget because when they lost to the Bengals in the AFC title game in 2021, like they traded Hill and let Matthew and Warren walk, and they'd won one Super Bowl at that point, and people are like, "Oh, well, they're done now," and then they went to 3 straight Super Bowls, won two.
Right? Yes.
Like I guess that's kind of the thing. If they go back to the Super Bowl and win it next year, which I know people, they're going to do that, bro. Like. Look around the AFC. Like if they get like a running back and like somebody who can like rush the passer, they're going to be involved.
That's a great point, but that's a conversation for probably another offseason podcast.
That is another. But yeah, the bottom line is, if I had to bet, I think Kelce's probably done.
Yeah,
and
that's okay.
What here? Before we move off of this, let's quickly. When you think of Travis Kelce, if you have one enduring image of him, what is it? One game, the
first thing that comes to my head when I think about Travis Kelce game and moment is when he threw his towel at the ref.
Awesome. I asked him about that on a podcast once. It was awesome.
I was at that game too, and I think Alex Smith was out, and I think they had like...
It was Nick Foles. Scored.
Yeah, it was Nick Foles. I think they had like 9 offensive starters out, and it was like Travis Kelce was one of the starters that was playing.
Yeah, they beat Jackson.
They beat the Jags. Yes.
An all-time game.
Oh yeah, incredible.
That is to this day for a great call because that is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. First of all, you know why it's funny? It was because he was right.
Yes. Oh yeah.
He got mauled. And was like, well, how is there not a call? And then the official gave him a look, and he just threw his
towel at him.
What I think of Kelce, and again, I think a lot of it's so tied to Patrick for obvious reasons. But when I think about it, I think of the first half against the Ravens in the AFC Championship game. When that game, in a weird way, as much as the Super Bowl standalone, because you're winning a championship, right?
Sure.
Like. I don't know how to quite term this. I don't think I've ever been prouder of them than that game in Baltimore, where that was like one of the very few, and maybe the only game they ever played in this dynasty where they were not supposed to win that game.
No.
Like they were not, like nobody picked them to win that game. And Kelce in that game ended up posting a line of 11 targets, 11 catches, 116 yards, and a touchdown.
Wow. And
I remember all week hearing how Kyle Hamilton that, as great as he is, probably going to end up in the Hall of Fame. Like, I remember the stat, Nance said it during the broadcast, very like, hey, he hasn't given up a touchdown to a tight end all year, and Mahomes threw that perfect back shoulder to him in the end zone.
The first drive of the game.
And I remember saying to my dad on the phone, I was like, Baltimore's in for a long fucking day. Yeah. Like, they are humming big time. That was also the game that, as we now look back, he did the Lord's work when he was just telling Justin Tucker to get the F out of their space.
Yeah.
But and they had that crazy catch where Mahomes scrambled around for like 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That game is the ultimate vintage. Like, those two guys are just gonna beat you. There's nothing you're doing about it, and like in doing it with the sliders turned up to 10 on difficulty because nobody could catch a pass on that team.
Right.
Until somehow MVS caught the game-clinching pass, like horizontal.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
But, when I think about, and there's other ones. So you think about the 13
seconds would be the real football one that I would think of, yeah.
That one, you think about that. I think about the game I covered last year with Houston when he caught that pass across the middle and he ran forever.
His first yak of like the season, pretty much.
I remember writing how it was like watching a parked bus run. Like that was like the intro. That was like my lead. Like, if you ever seen a park bus run, usually did on Saturday afternoon.
Walk off against the Chargers in overtime.
Oh yeah,
like
in prime time. It's Thursday Night Football.
Yep, I'll remember that one. Also, by the way, I want to follow this up on your Ravens point of that game. He was 34 in that game.
It was unbelievable. You and I were talking. I'll leave it at this. You and I were talking before we started the show. I would make a real argument, and I feel like I could substantially back it up, that Travis Kelce is the greatest playoff performer in NFL history. In 25 games, 178 receptions, 2,078 yards, 20 touchdowns, caught 80.9% of his targets. And if you take out, if you start when Mahomes was the quarterback, and he played 21 games with Mahomes, 155 catches, 1,784 yards, 19 touchdowns. He's the all-time receptions leader in the playoffs. He has 27 more than Jerry Rice. And, you always get from a certain segment of New England this argument of but Gronk.
Right, yeah.
Listen, I am here to tell you, I always loved watching Gronkowski play. So I am not a Gronk hater by any means. I loved watching him. Rob Gronkowski played 22 games in his playoff career. Okay, all of them with Brady, by the way. So it's not like there was some bozo in there. They're all with Brady.
Yeah.
22 games. Okay, compared to Kelce's 25. Gronkowski had 80 fewer receptions than Kelce. 80 fewer receptions than Kelce. And he played in 3 fewer games. He had 5 fewer touchdowns. He had 700 less yards. And he caught 20% less of his targets than Kelce. I mean, you can't. And by the way, just for the record, with Mahomes as his quarterback, here are the yardage totals starting in the 2020 season are some of the wildest. 109, 118, and this is not, I'm not skipping any games, but this is just consecutive. 109, 118, 133, 108, 96, 95, 98, 78, 81, 71, 75, 116, 93, 117.
70 is the low.
That's, yeah. And in 14, that's over 14 games. In 11 of those games, you caught at least one touchdown. I mean, that's like if a quarterback threw for 300 plus yards in 14 straight games, and then also, by the way, threw 40 touchdown passes in that stretch. That is impossible. It's the exact opposite of what Josh Allen is after the wild card round. But that's in here another.
We'll get to that later. We'll get to that in a couple weeks.
We'll get to that. That's a little wetting the palate for what we're going to get to when Josh Allen gets past Pittsburgh in the wild card round. If well, history says he will, but then look out in the divisional round.
True.
I would argue that Travis Kelce's legacy is legitimately the greatest playoff player ever. Ever, regardless of position. I don't think there's ever been anything like Travis Kelce in the playoffs.
I think there's a good point to be made. You look at just the basic playoff numbers of receiving yards and receptions. He's number 2 in receiving yards, only less than 200 away from Jerry Rice. He's obviously not going to get that one. And he has the most receptions in playoff history. So I think there's a really good case to be made.
It's what's crazy is and I'll get off to ask this, but so Marvin Harrison, right? Just throwing out one of the greatest players of all time, Hall of Famer. So Kelce played 25 playoff games. We went over his numbers. Marvin Harrison played 16 playoff games. 16 playoff games. And only one was without Peyton Manning. One was with Harbaugh. Okay. He had one 100-yard game in the playoffs and 2 touchdowns in 16 games.
Wow.
That's what he did in the playoff. And I could sit here and go over. You picked the guy. Who do you want to talk about? You want to talk about T.O. in the playoffs? T.O. played 12 games in the playoffs and had a quarter of the receptions of Travis Kelce. I mean, you name the guy. You name it. Doesn't matter who it is. Like, who do you want? I mean, I'll just nip this in the bud right now. Julian Edelman.
Oh yeah, get him out of here.
Okay, Julian Edelman in his career played 19 playoff games. He had 5 touchdowns. He had 600 less yards than Kelce.
Yeah,
he had almost 100 fewer receptions. Like, I mean, it's just what Kelce. It's impossible. The guy didn't have a bad playoff game for 5 years, and they just kept going to the Super Bowl every one of those years. It's not like he played in one game.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly would feel strongly and say, I don't know that anyone will ever match what that guy did in the playoffs, ever. Like, it is just, it's unbelievable. But anyway, I know we'll move on here. But yeah, it's, if he's done, he's earned being done.
100%. In terms of playoff receiving touchdowns, he is 2 behind Jerry Rice. He's the number 2 all time in receiving touchdowns in the playoffs. He's number 2, as we mentioned, in receiving yards, and he's number 1 in receptions. So, like, in the playoffs. So, like, that's incredibly impressive for a tight end, by the way. Let's also throw that part out there. But yeah, we need to take a break. We've kind of blown past our usual break point, but we had a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about in the first block of this show. A lot of Chiefs stuff to talk about. But we got to take a break because there's a lot of other quarterbacks in the AFC specifically that we need to talk about.
Yes.
And dive into. So let's take a break. We'll be back on the other side. Chiefs.
Just a short drive from Kansas City. Experience the history, the heritage, and the bourbon at Holiday Distillery. Tour Missouri's oldest distillery, where real Missouri bourbon is made the old-fashioned way. Walk the grounds, taste the tradition, and take home a bottle of something special. Make the trip, sip the story. Holiday Distillery, Weston, Missouri. Book your tour at holidaydistillery.com.
Missouri, your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live in your state. Now you can make every game even more exciting with same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more, all from your phone, all safe, secure, and easy to use. Missouri fans know game day. The tailgates, the noise, the passion. Now with DraftKings Sportsbook, you can bring that same energy to every snap, every touchdown, every win. And right now, new Missouri customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. No waiting, no nonsense, just pure action powered by America's top-rated sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KCSN. New Missouri customers bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code KCSN. The crown is yours. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network. Emprise Bank has been with us from the beginning. They were our first network partner, and they believed in the vision of what we were building from the start. I can't speak to any other banks or companies and how they operate, but I can tell you from personal experience and based on the growth of the network you're listening to right now, that if you have banking needs, call our friends at Emprise Bank. We've worked with so many great people there over the years, from Vicky and Aggie to Andrea, Lori, Jackie, Deb, and Aaron, and not to mention so many others that not just supported KC Sports Network, but supported our KCSN Foundation as well. But the best thing that I know is that if I have a question or a problem, no matter how dumb the question is, I know who I'm going to call and who I'm going to talk to. And I know that I'm getting an answer from someone that I can trust. And I know that person is there to help us. That's why Emprise Bank has always been and continues to be our partner in Possible. And they can be yours too. You just have to reach out. If you have a banking need, whether it's business or personal, hit me up. I will connect you directly with the same people that have helped us build KCSN. And that's our friends at Emprise Bank.
Matt, did you see this? We didn't talk about this, but this is coming up on my Twitter timeline. The Chicago Bears want to build their stadium in Indiana?
They're threatening to do it. I'm going to tell everybody something right now. As somebody who's driven through Indiana more times than I'd like to ever admit, and who lives outside Chicago, there's a 0% chance they're building Gary, Indiana. Okay. Good luck to them. with that. That's the emptiest threat of all time. And it's because like Illinois is being a pain in the ass with all the politics and everything else. It's like,
Sure.
Which people with the Chiefs and Kansas City know full well about that.
Yeah.
Like the Bears are going to get a stadium in Illinois where, I don't know, whether they refurbish Soldier Field or they build it in Arlington Heights or like whatever, which I love these Chicagoans who are so bent out of shape that like, they're going to go to Arlington Heights. It's like 15 minutes outside the city.
Yeah.
Guys, it's fine. It's okay.
That's where they want to go though, right? Is Arlington Heights? Is that where that's where they have like their practice facility? Am I right?
No, they're their practice facility on Lake Forest, which is like an hour outside the city with traffic.
Sure.
But they want to go to Arlington Heights because it's a loaded community and they could get a ton of space out there.
Yeah.
And they could run a train right to the stadium and they could build a dome stadium and use it year round and everything. And like, but yeah, I mean, this whole thing with the Bears, I've seen Bears fans just melting down. Guys, they're not moving to Indiana. I love that the Colts also put out a thing. They're like, yeah, good luck. Like the Colts just couldn't care any less.
Yeah.
I mean, no, they're not moving to Indiana, but people are like, well, what if they move to Northwest Indiana? Like, that's Gary.
Yeah.
They're not moving to Gary. I would bet my life that they're not going to be the Gary Bears.
Gary Bears would be hilarious.
I promise you that's not in the offing. It's not coming.
I didn't know East Chicago was a city in Indiana until right now as me looking at this map. I did not know that was a city. It's this racetrack that they want to build on, right? Is that what it is? In Arlington Heights, that they want to build where that racetrack is?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought. And I know that there's been some renderings that have been out there about like what the Bears could do with a remodeled Soldier Field, like off the lake there. And it looks pretty cool. Like it looks like they could do some cool stuff.
So the problem, if you've never been to Chicago, you've never been to Soldier Field, the problem with Soldier Field is it's an absolute nightmare to get there.
Yeah. There's
no public way to get there. There's no parking. It's a nightmare. I mean, the stadium was built like the 30s.
Right.
So it was not built with the idea of like getting there for 80,000 people.
It's also very funny that Soldier Field, like they kept like the old facade and was like, let's just build a giant ass stadium around it.
Yeah, which by the way pissed off everyone alive.
Yeah.
Chicago. I mean, it's a pain in the ass. Like the stadium itself is fine, but to get there, I've covered games there. It's a nightmare to get there.
Yeah, how do you get there? I'm looking at it.
You have to drive. You have to take. You have to take the Lake Drive essentially.
Lakeshore Drive.
You have to take Lakeshore Drive to get there. It's a train wreck, dude. It is so hard to get there. You can take the train like to near there and then walk, which like in September is cool. In January, not as cool.
Oof.
No, and there's like no parking. There's nowhere to park. It's a disaster. It's just the stadium itself is fine, but getting there is just it's not a fun experience.
Yeah, I saw some of that like going around about that, and I didn't really read too into it because I don't really truthfully care that much about the Bears. Yeah, to care where they're going to put a stadium. But I saw something about, I think Breer tweeted out like, do the Colts and the Bears have to play for a Governor's Cup now or something like that? And I was like, what is this all about? So it made me go take a look.
Credit my compadres. Gilberto Manzano and Connor Orr basically broke that news.
Shout out.
Yeah. So Gil's been all over that. So yeah, I mean, look, man, I always just kind of err on this. It's like when the whole thing with the Chiefs was happening, and it's like, well, are they going to leave? It's like, or they're the Kansas City Chiefs. Like,
right.
They're not going to Omaha. I promise you. Like, it's not going to happen. Although fun fact, the Kansas City Kings, the old basketball team, they were the Kansas City Omaha Kings for a couple of years.
Yeah,
the players love that,
buddy. We need the Kings back in Kansas City. I know that Sacramento just like re-upped in terms of just like their stadium lease. I've been trying to keep my eye on like teams that can move because I don't know if really Kansas City's going to get an expansion franchise, right? It's going to be a team needs to move, but I think they're trying to move the Pelicans to Vegas is what's kind of going on right now. But
the Pelicans have got to move.
They're bad and nobody wants to watch them.
I remember being down there, for the Super Bowl and like passing Smoothie King Center. And I was like, it's time to go.
They're doing, from what I understand, I'm not tapped into New Orleans Pelicans basketball. If I was, I probably wouldn't be on this podcast.
Drinking so heavily that you got the wheeled out.
Yeah. Instead, I'm heavily into Orlando Magic basketball. Anyway, from what my understanding is that like this lady bought the team with like intentions of like major leaguing them, right? Of just like making them so bad. So then
she's doing a great job then.
Yeah, no, she's doing a phenomenal job.
She is.
I don't want to take anything away from her. I don't know her name. Maybe I should Google that. But I don't know. But she's doing a great job.
So yeah, wonderful job. I'll tell you, as you're looking that up, you know who's not doing a great job is Tua.
He's not.
And you know what? He's not doing a job now at all because he
doesn't have a job.
He's now the emergency third string quarterback. And I love my favorite sidelight out of this is that Zach Wilson is upset that he doesn't understand why he's not starting. Zach, I don't know how to tell you this lightly. It's because you're Zach Wilson.
Yeah, you suck, buddy.
Like I saw that headline, I was like, "Is this serious?"
Mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't know why. And I go, "Yeah, they're starting Quinn Ewers." It's like Quinn Ewers probably also is awful, but Quinn Ewers, like, there's a shred of hope that he's not awful. There's no shred of hope that Zach Wilson's not. He's off. But to be benched for Quinn Ewers is
that's a new level of
not great
awful.
for your career prospects.
No, it's not great. My first reaction when I saw the news about what was going on with the Miami Dolphins was that how in the world is Tua going to win the great interception race of 2025?
He's now. It's probably why he was so upset that he got benched.
Well, he's put himself in a good position. I think he has 15 and Gino has 14 because Gino didn't play last week, right?
Yes, correct.
So he's up 1. But, I mean, look, there's still 3 games left. We know the Chiefs aren't going to pick Gino off. So, really, Gino has 2 games left to get 2 picks. And, you know, I kind of think that's easy money for Mr. Smith. But, yeah, Tua getting benched is one of those things where we knew at the time that the Tua contract was signed was like, oh, that's not good. They're going to regret that. And they are clearly regretting that deal right now as he is going. Do the Dolphins eat all that money? Do you think that's what they're going to have to do is eat all that money?
That's what I was going to say, right? Like, dude, I don't know.
It's
between them and
money.
It's an insane amount of money. So Tua, for anyone who's unaware here, he got a 4-year, $212 million extension, and it started this year.
No, right, yes.
Like, he's got 3 years left on this mother. Bro, they're eating. So if they were to trade him just prior to June 1st, they would save 11.2 next year, but eat 45.2 million. And then like after that, it's like 31.8 and it's 18. It's an ungodly amount of money.
Yeah, right.
But here's the deal. Like, so this is multifaceted. Okay, so whatever team, if you were to acquire him, you're paying him 39, 31, and $41.4 million as cap hits. Who's acquiring him?
Right.
Like, who the hell's... It'd be hilarious if it was Cleveland. But like, who's taking on that? Here's a wild one that I really...
Jets.
Would be
a very Jets move to do, but yes.
Here's a really wild one that I actually think in a weird way, like, would these teams do this? Would you trade him for Kyler Murray straight up?
I mean, it can't be worse.
I was thinking about
Kyler Murray's Tua without the concussion history.
Like, I was thinking about this, and I was like,
right-handed.
Would the Dolphins call the Cardinals up and be like, look, we both have a major problem on our hands. Would you like to trade problems?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Like, if you stop. Okay, so just critically thinking really quickly about this.
Might be tough.
Let's just go through the teams rapid fire. Yay or nay. Like, just like in terms of would they be interested in acquiring him?
Sure. Yeah.
Tua, not Kyler. Tua.
Right.
Okay. Bills, no. Pats, no. Jets? Okay.
Maybe.
Put them on the side. So we got Jets.
Yeah.
Ravens, no. Bengals, no. The Browns, it's just no way.
I don't think they will, but I've been wrong before.
Get Haslam on the phone. Somebody get hold of Jimmy. The Steelers.
I mean, Aaron's probably done after this year, right?
Right, but are you like a cold weather team acquiring Tua?
Yeah, that's a great one.
It would be the funniest thing of all time. It's fucking 10 degrees with like 80-mile-an-hour winds, and Tua's out there just throwing moon balls. Oh, my God. All right. So, Houston, no. Jags, no. The Titans, I mean, Ward may not be good, but no. Like, they're not going to acquire him.
Right.
And then, like, the Colts, like, with what picks? Like,
yeah.
Right.
No,
don't.
with Sauce Gardner. No.
Chiefs, no. Chargers, no. Broncos probably should, but no.
Right.
And
they've got younger Tua at home. Younger right-handed Tua at home.
I can't wait till they give him $60 million a year.
It's so good.
You know it's coming. And then there's the Raiders.
They're already paying so many quarterbacks. They're paying so many quarterbacks right now, though.
Yeah, we're paying a lot of coaches too. They're not afraid. The NFC, like, this is where it gets tough. There's nobody in the NFC East that would do it.
No.
The NFC North, there's nobody that would do it in the North. Like, I'm sorry, Minnesota's not doing it. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say Minnesota's probably the only team that,
like, they're not doing it. Like, they're gonna give McCarthy another year. And you think Kevin O'Connell is gonna, like, that's who he wants running his offense?
Right?
No way. NFC South. I mean, the Falcons stink, but like they're gonna roll with Penix. Mayfield.
They're already on the hook too for a lot of money with Kirk.
The Saints are like $8 billion over the cap. They can't do it. And although Loomis does like a challenge. And
it's true.
The Panthers, would they do it?
No.
No? Okay.
They're probably okay with Bryce, wouldn't you think?
He's terrible.
Right. But I mean, they play the NFC South.
So 7-7.
Yeah.
And winning the division.
Right.
And then there's the NFC West, which like the Cardinals would be it. So we're talking like maybe a half dozen teams. At all, like max. And that includes like the Steelers who are not going to trade for him. I don't know. The Jets who are in the division. Like the Jets are not going to trade for Tua. Like it's
no.
So like I'll tell you the team that I think, man. I think we might see the great interception race in the same building next year.
Raiders? You think of Raiders? And
I do. I think they're the leaders in the clubhouse because here's why. So this draft class is not exactly chock full of great quarterbacks.
Yeah, it kind of stinks, actually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're the Raiders, you could send Geno to the Dolphins. Right? Like, so you could, in theory, say, look, all right, so Geno's contract, he signed for $375 recently.
Yeah, wasn't great.
No. But you could trade, so his cap number next year is 26.5 in terms of his base, if that's what the Dolphins would get.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's 39.5, and there's no guarantees for either guy once they get traded because that team can just move off of them.
Sure. Yeah.
So if you're the Dolphins, look, Geno Smith, you bring him in, you get 1 year out of whatever the hell you get out of Geno, and then like you're just looking for the next guy.
Mm-hmm.
But it gives you somebody to play. The Raiders, like if they're going to keep Pete Carroll, bro, they can't. Like, what are they going to do? A 5-year rebuild? He's going to be 75 in September.
Right. Yeah.
And this is a team that perpetually just tries to find like a guy, anybody, play somebody. They're inside. They don't have to deal with the elements. I could 1,000% see them just being like, yeah, Tua. Like we'll give up. Because what are you giving up for? Nothing.
Yeah. I mean, probably late day 2 at the most.
If that.
Yeah.
Like nothing. I'd be like, here's Geno and a 6th.
Oh, yeah. If it's with Geno, too, yeah, you are.
Right? Like, here's Geno Smith and a 6th. I just. Yeah, man. I really I think they would of anybody make the most sense, but I don't like. There's a world that they just cannot trade the guy.
Yeah,
like there's a world that they're just like, yeah, I don't know, we're screwed.
Well, that brings up the question: like, do they just straight up cut him and just eat the money in general?
Have you looked at what it would be like if they cut him?
Yeah, I saw Schefter tweeted it out.
They're not cutting him.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
So, yeah.
How bad would he have to be? How much worse would he have to be like, yeah, we just cannot have you on our team?
And we'll eat $99 million next year and not fill the team. You don't care. But you know what? That's one of those deals, man. The second they signed, that contract's awful. Mm-hmm. What are you doing? Him and Kyler, it's the same thing. Like, both of them. You're like, why would you ever sign that contract, dude?
Yeah. Here's the thing: is like what happens with these contracts. It's always the next guy gets the big contract, and that's what it ends up being. And like as you mentioned, like with Bo Nix is eventually going to be that next guy, and Bo Nix is going to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, and it's going to be like, and Patrick Mahomes is going to be making a fraction of what he's making, right? Of what Bo Nix.
Bo Nix is going to get paid, and they're going to have to let that entire defense walk.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, actually, yes, it turns out like that's why they were winning. Mm-hmm. But yeah, look, I think Tua, this offseason is going to be interesting, man. You got Tua, you got Kyler. Like, I don't know. Who's trading for these guys? Who's acquiring these dudes? Like, it's one thing to sign them as a free agent when it's like 1 year and $15 million. It's a whole nother ball of wax when you're trading for a contract like that. I do not think there's going to be a big market, but I honest to God, I think if he does go, I think the Raiders are like the leaders in the clubhouse for it. Just a classic. Hey, he's on it. We put him on tickets. Like, great. Yeah. Awesome. You know? But yeah, he's terrible. And we'll have to listen to the takes of like, he's getting new scenery, it's like, yeah, okay, that's great. He's doing
new system for him. Yeah. Pete Carroll's a great system to learn from. Yeah. I can already feel it coming. There could be another quarterback that we've been used to seeing in the AFC and in competition with Patrick Mahomes a lot being a new spot, because Joe Burrow keeps saying just the most outlandish shit that, like, buddy, you don't have to say this. Like, you don't have to tell people this. Like, that's the other part of just like, yeah, you can just act like everything's okay. But clearly things are not okay with Joe Burrow because we got another weekly deep thought process from him. And things cannot be good in Cincinnati. If I'm a Bengals fan, I am feeling not great, especially after him not playing very well and then him coming out and being like, all 31 other teams would have lost with me as their quarterback today. And then coming out here and being like, yes. Kel, can you see yourself playing quarterback for any other team? And he said, I think about a lot of things. That was a good one. I was like, Joe, you didn't have to say that one. You should just say, no, I don't know, probably not. But yeah, Joe Burrow's going through some stuff, man.
It's not good.
No.
It's listen, we're about 1 week away from him showing up at the press conference with a suitcase. Okay? Like,
yeah.
And he can minimize it all he wants, like saying like, well, no, people are, taking it further than I'm. Bro, like, if Patrick Mahomes, healthy Patrick Mahomes, showed up at a press conference and was like, yeah, sometimes I think about all kinds of things, like whether I finish my career here or not. Like,
yeah, I'd be freaking out.
What? Like, yeah. What's happening? Listen, I think we're seriously about at most a year away from Burrow being like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Get me the hell out of here, and I can play the second half of my career somewhere else. Because keep in mind, I remember this, I was at the Combine this year when this all happened. I was at his media availability then when he was coming out of LSU, and people were actively and overtly over and over and over in any way you can think of asking him, are you just going to tell the Bengals you won't play for him?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were that big of a shit show. It was like, yeah. And then he got there. But here's the thing. Now, I know some of this is he's been hurt. I get all that. He's been to the playoffs twice in his career.
Right.
Twice. I mean, that's like, we talk about Allen and Lamar and Mahomes. I mean, those guys, they at least get to the playoffs. Like, Burrow doesn't even get there. And it's not because of Burrow. So you do wonder here, if they suck again next year, is Burrow just like, yeah, I'm about to be 30. I'm done with this. Like, I am out of here. Because, it's funny. I was sitting there reading Paul Denner Jr. is the beat writer for The Athletic for the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
He did a mailbag. answering questions about whether or not they would fire Duke Tobin or Zach Taylor or Al Golden. And he basically, I'm paraphrasing Paul's work, basically was like, nope, not going to happen.
Insane.
And said that like the ownership views Duke Tobin as family. You know, like, this is a fucking football team.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Okay. I got to tell you, there are people in my life that aren't family that I view as family. And if they were screwing up my business to that level, they would be family, but not an employee.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm Burrow, I'm sitting there like, really? You think these guys are all family? Great. Well, I'm going to go be part of another family because I am not going to go ringless my entire career watching this bozo fest play out every year here in Cincinnati. And you're sort of the one too, like, I don't know. I mean, how many more major injuries does he have in him?
Man, how many major lower body injuries? Majority of them have been lower body outside of the wrist he had last year. But
right. But he's had the toe, he's had the knee, and his knee was shred. He like tore everything in his knee.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, there comes a point like, do they turn him into like Barry Sanders?
That
or he's just like
man.
31, or and he's just like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to do this anymore. I'm all set. I've got generational wealth. I'm done with this shit. Goodbye.
Calvin Johnson, like it, you name it. Like those are all the names that are being thrown out right now with Joe Burrow. I think he is like a speed running the Andrew Luck career path to a kind of an astonishing T, and it is very concerning. So for anyone who didn't know, on Wednesday, Joe Burrow was asked. Obviously, there's been some very vague comments that he said if he was having fun doing this last week. So there were some more follow-ups from the reporters, be like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" Especially after them losing, they didn't score a point, I believe, last week either. So that probably may weigh on your mental a little bit. He was asked if he could see in a world in which he was playing for the Bengals in 2026. He said, "I can't see that. No." He was less empathetic when asked if he thought about ever playing elsewhere. Quote, "You think about a lot of things," is what he said. You think about a lot of things. He went on to explain that the NFL is an anything can happen landscape. Quote, "A lot of crazy things happen every year." Micah Parsons got traded before the season this year. Crazy things can happen. Last quote from him is he's tired of hearing about all of the Cincinnati's concerns. He said, "I like playing football for the same reasons that I wanted to push to come back from injury. The same reasons I wanted to play this week," he said. "It feels like everybody's trying to do everything in their power to make me not play football. And I feel like I'm fighting it, like fighting everybody else. I just want to play ball. That's all I want to do." Man, I think that he is clearly going through some stuff, right? And he said that last week that he was like going through some personal and some professional football stuff. And I think there's some reports out there that he feels like he's let a lot of like the Bengals down because he got hurt this year. And that's kind of why he's kind of been so bummed out, is that, he pushed for Jamar to be resigned. He pushed for T. Higgins to be resigned, and then he wasn't out there. So then he kind of took some responsibility for that a little bit like that. He said something else too. I just saw this quote. "You think about it, but you think about a lot of different things in your life, just like everybody does. You think about all the different possibilities that could happen. I'm not going to play a long time. I expect to play for a long time. I expect to play well and consistently great for a long time."
I'm not giving this. He's honest.
He is. That's refreshing.
I was going to say, that's literally the word I was going to use. Refreshingly honest. Listen. Last thing I'll say on Burrow is just, if I'm the Bengals, I'm absolutely petrified. Mm-hmm. And also, too, like, I think one thing that's different this year than last year. Last year, he got hurt, and he came back, and I'm just trying to think. Am I right about he got hurt? No, he got hurt 2 years ago. Last year, he played the whole season, right?
The wrist?
Yeah.
The wrist, I feel like the wrist was...
That was the year the Chiefs beat them at the end of the year, right?
Oh yeah, and it was with Jake Browning.
Okay, because I don't want to miss. Okay, so last year Burrow played the whole year. Yeah, right. You won the passing title. Mm-hmm. So the year prior to that, they go 5-5 when he played, and like he wasn't great in those games. He was dealing with like all kinds of crap all year long. He was never really right. And then this year, like what would concern me is even when he's played this year, they're still not good.
Yeah.
You know, like last year they weren't good because the defense was ridiculously bad, and this year it's the same thing. But like last year, offensively, they were putting up crazy numbers. They just couldn't stop him. And this year, offensively, they're kind of like they're all right. Like they're nothing great. And obviously part of that is because they had like Jake Browning get involved and everything else. But it's I just think if you're the Bengals, we've been sitting here killing the Chiefs, and rightfully so, about how they've got to like look at a mirror and they got to.
Sure.
I mean, the Bengals should be in a fucking fun house with the amount of mirrors they got to be looking at, right? I mean,
yeah.
You know, I mean, you got to at some point have some self-evaluation. It just doesn't like they ever have any plans to do it. Like the problem with them is and it's funny because like the Chiefs are a family business, the hunts and everything else.
Absolutely. That's
and like, look, we've said our pieces about Clark over the years. One thing I'll say about Clark Hunt, I genuinely do believe the guy wants to win.
Yeah.
Like, I really do believe he does want to win games. Now, there are some times I think he could do some things differently, maybe accomplish that goal, but I do think he wants to win. I think Mike Brown kind of views the Bengals as like just a little like fun operation. Like, yeah, if we win, it's cool. Because they don't invest anything. Say what you want about Chiefs. Andy's not cheap. Brett's not cheap. Spags is not cheap. But they're paying those guys major money. You know, the Chiefs have a robust scouting department. The Chiefs spend major money in that regard. The Bengals don't spend any money.
Yeah.
And again, you just look at it and go, I mean, if you're Burrow at some point, does that not wear on you? Do you not just get to the point where you're fed up? And I think he's human. He's human. And he sounds like he's being very honest about what he's thinking.
Which fair. I mean, I would be fed up too if I was him.
Yeah.
In all honesty. So, I mean, when you look at who like the net worth of the owners in the National Football League outside of like the Packers, right? From what I'm looking at here in this article, the Packers are sourced, right? Stockholders. Mike Brown, being is the now $925 million net worth, is the lowest net worth. I don't think the Carly Ursay Gordon's, it says no net worth known. And I guess the Hallases also don't have a net worth known as well. So, but out of all the no net worths of all these owners, they're at the bottom. The Bengals are at the bottom, and they act like it. And that is a very good thing. Matt, let's talk about some of these games on Sunday before we wrap up here. There's also games on Saturday, and I didn't realize that until I did the stream on Wednesday, and I looked at it, and I was like, oh, there's 2 games on Saturday. I mean,
yes.
And Eagles and Commanders, whatever. But like Packers-Bears should be a really good one.
Packers-Bears should be a good one. Just played a couple weeks ago. Caleb polished that game off the pick in the end zone.
Yeah, he did. That was when they entered. Didn't they enter like the game as like the 1 seed in the NFC, and then they left the game as the 7? Yeah.
The things come at you fast in the NFC.
That's true.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I like the Packers in the game. I think they're better even without Parsons, but Parsons being out is a big
that's
thing. Like how does that super affect this game? Like to the point that it's like it changes who wins. It could. He's one of the rare non-quarterbacks you'd say that about. But listen, it's funny. If the Bears lose this game, they very well may not make the playoffs.
Yeah, because they got a gauntlet coming down the stretch.
So their last 3 games are the Packers, the Niners, the Lions. And if they lose one of these 2 here coming up, and they lose to the Lions, and the Lions win out, and the Lions play the Steelers, Vikings, and Bears, Lions make the playoffs.
Wow.
So I am excited for the game, though. I do think the Packers win. I'm actually going to be in Chicago this weekend with my family, just whole Christmas weekend. And my editor initially was like, hey, do you want to cover this game? I was like, no, I don't, because I already booked a hotel.
Yeah.
2 days, and my wife may divorce me on the spot if I tell her I got to cover Bears Packers.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's going to be a great game.
Yeah. Do I want to? Yes. Should I?
Right.
No.
Right. I will not have a bed to sleep in.
Right. Looking at, so I'll definitely be locked into that one on the Saturday. We also got on Saturday. You also have, which I don't know why they're doing this now. Like Saturday is the first day of college football playoffs, and then if I was like, let's throw some Saturday games on here.
The NFL doesn't care.
No, they don't give a rat's ass.
The NFL is also lighting every candle in church for the Christmas Day slate, which we'll get to next week.
Fuck.
The dream's dead. But Eagles Commanders, you couldn't pay me to watch.
But I'll avoid that one, I think. But
and then the Sunday noon slate's one of the most hilarious slates the entire year. Like Bucks Panthers is the only game you'd even consider watching.
Yeah, Cowboys Chargers not terrible.
Yeah. It
doesn't really mean anything, because it's NFC, AFC at this point in the year. It's just like,
and the Cowboys are out. The Chargers are going to get in. So
yeah. Bills Browns. I just noticed that. Jets and Saints is a football game that's actually going to happen.
Saints are favored by 4.5.
Man, that's crazy. If the Chiefs and Titans weren't live or weren't also going, we would go live for that game, I think.
We may have to at some point just go live with the Chiefs Titans. That is just a disgrace.
Boy, it's bad. And we'll be watching it. Wow, only a 3-point favorite in that game. The Chiefs are.
You know how bad you have to be an underdog to the Chiefs right now. The Chiefs are actively trying to lose, and they're a 3-point road favorite over the Titans.
And then Broncos Jags in the afternoon slate, with Patriots Ravens being the night cap,
which are good games, right?
I guess Steelers Lions.
The Lions are going to kill them, man.
They should.
They're going to kill them.
I never know what Lions team's going to show up, though.
Fair. And then Monday night is 88-year-old Phillip Rivers against the Niners.
At least it's at home. At least he doesn't have any travel.
Robert Saleh just relentlessly blitzing Rivers as he just gets basically put in an ambulance at the third time he's hit. Yeah, so, I mean, it's a good slate of games around the 1 o'clock slate. The 1 o'clock slate's awful. They have the late window, the primetime games. They're all good games. Mm-hmm. And then there's 2 weeks left. It's crazy, but it's true.
2 weeks left with the Christmas Day slate, as you mentioned. Obviously, the Chiefs are going to be hosting the Broncos. Matt, did I tell you that I have a Instagram reel on my page about how much Bo Nix sucks, right? I think I've told you about this. And every time the Broncos play a football game, it gets a couple thousand more views and a couple thousand more comments about how much of an idiot I am.
Give it time. You're gonna eventually come out smelling like a rust.
I know. I need to be patient. I know that eventually I can make the comment. I can go back to the video and say, wow, that's crazy. Bo Nix has as many playoff wins as Patrick Mahomes did this year. I know I'll get to do that, but I need to be patient.
Yeah, I think you're going to be rewarded for your Bo Nix take as time goes on.
I certainly hope so. All right, now we've hit the part of the show where I go to the Apple Podcast and see if anybody left a review. If you guys didn't leave a 5-star review, you guys are going to be kind of slacking. I'll be honest, because last week we didn't have a new one. And if we don't have a new one this week, I need somebody to get in there and leave a 5-star review. All right, perfect. This show. Oh, we had another one 5 days ago. 5 days ago. This one's from Dobie Listens. Matt's the best, man. That football show is my go-to Chiefs podcast every week. Shout out to Dobie.
Thank you, Dobie, the man.
This show makes me laugh from Moobear 222 4 days ago. It's just so damn funny. I'm a Chiefs fan living in South Louisiana, also where discarded Chiefs players end up. That's also very true.
Yeah.
Keep up the weird facts at the end as well, like the Washington no draft picks from the 70s. Funny as hell, but some great trivia knowledge as well. Merry Christmas to Matt and Tucker. And nobody else from KTSN. Only we get Merry Christmas.
Yeah, good. Everybody else can go fuck themselves. Merry Christmas. Here, you know what? Is that the last one we have?
Yeah, that's the last one.
I will leave. And what was the name of the man who sent that in?
That was. Let me unlock my phone again. Moobear 222.
Okay, Moobear. Thank you. You're the man. You know what? I'll leave you with it. I'll leave you with a little 1970s draft nugget. Okay,
here we go. Let's go.
Chiefs related. If you've ever wondered. I did this once as a history lesson on the Patreon pod that I moonlight with, and it drew quite a response because people are like, "Is that real?" Yes, it's real. Okay, if you've ever wondered, geez, what's the worst draft class they've ever had?
Ooh,
let me tell you something. Most things in sports are up for debate.
It's true.
This is not. Okay, the 1975 Chiefs draft class is not even debatable. Not only their worst draft class, it's the worst draft class in NFL history.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to.
They took 11 players in this draft. Elmore Stevens, Cornelius Walker, Morris LeGrand, Dave Wasik, Wayne Hoffman, Dale Hageland, James Rackley, John Schneider, Gene Mosier, Mark Peterson, and Mike Brolino. 11 guys.
Yeah.
10 of them never played in an NFL game. Never played an NFL game. Morris LeGrand played 13 games. He lasted one season. He didn't even last the whole season in Kansas City. He ended up in New Orleans the last 2 games of the year. In Kansas City, he had 13 carries for 38 yards and a touchdown and 1 catch for -1 yards, also known as Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah.
A 2025 special. Not that besmirch Isaiah Pacheco when he was still productive, but it's the 2025 version. Morris LeGrand's the only one of those 11 guys who ever stepped on an NFL field.
That's insane. That's hard to do.
Okay, that's impossible. Impossible. And yet they managed. And a little postscript. So the Chiefs, the second round pick, because they didn't have a first round pick that year.
Right.
Second round pick was Elmore Stevens.
Mm-hmm. Out of Kentucky.
Out of Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Not only was that pick a disaster from a football standpoint, but I'm going to read you a piece from things a Mike thinks about .wordpress.com here.
Okay. Reliable source.
Oh, I know it is accurate, actually. And the article is called "A Kidnapping, a Restraining Order, and a Straitjacket." Elmore Stevens. In the second round, the Chiefs selected one Elmore Stevens, a tight end out of the University of Kentucky. Stevens was so terrible in practice in the first 2 preseason games of 1975 that Paul Wiggin, the head coach of the Chiefs, gave up on him, and he was traded to the New York Giants for a conditional draft pick. If only the story ended there. The Giants cut Stevens before the 1975 season began. And a little over a month after his release, Stevens' apartment in Lexington was robbed. The thief or thieves got away with $1,000 and a $500 wristwatch. The former tight end and 2 or 3, depending on who you believe, other men found the man they believe responsible for the robbery, LaRon Taylor, and kidnapped him from his home, tossing him into the trunk of a car. In the early morning hours of Sunday, October 12th, the day that Stevens, had the Chiefs been right about his talents, would have been suiting up for the team's game against the rival Raiders, a game KC won 42-10. Stevens strangled Taylor and with the help of 2 or 3 other men, tossed the body into the Ohio River. 2 days later, Stevens and 2 alleged accomplices were arrested by police based on a description from Taylor's girlfriend. They were charged with kidnapping and jailed on a $100,000 bond. A week later, a body washed up in downtown Louisville, identified as LaRon Taylor. 2 days later, Stevens and his 2 alleged accomplices were charged with murder. In January 1976, Stevens was found guilty of kidnapping and reckless homicide, and the following month was sentenced to 21 years in prison. That is the Chiefs' 1975 draft class.
You know, you can't hit them all.
No, you cannot.
But it would have been nice to hit some of them that year.
Morris LeGrand, 13 carries, 38 yards, was the jewel of the draft class. Actually, the Chiefs give out Rookie of the Year awards every year, the Mackley Hill Award.
Yeah.
Did Morris LeGrand win was that an award back then for that?
Yeah, I was going to say, when Mackley Hill, when was he around? Like, was he after?
The 60s.
Oh, damn it. So yeah, it was, I don't know if it was an award then, but.
I'm looking it up right now because I need to know.
Yeah, he would have to be by default, right? Who wins the Mackley Hill Award this year?
It's given the Chiefs. Okay, so the Chiefs. Let's see here.
Okay, here we go.
So the Chiefs gave it to. Okay, so they're saying. Oh, this is hilarious. Okay. Walter White won the award that year, and he actually was a pretty decent tight end for the Chiefs in the 70s. Like, believe it, I was actually like respectable. He won it. He was a Steelers draft pick and was traded to the Chiefs.
Loophole,
got him.
Yeah, look, he was technically a rookie of the year that year. I mean, great spin zone kind of on their part. I have to give it to them on that. Damn. So since 1966, they've given out the Mackley Hill.
Yes. Yeah, because Mackley Hill was a young, promising running back who died in December 65 as a complication of surgery. He was having knee surgery and had a fever spike of 108 and passed, and that's why it's named the Mackley Hill Award. But in any event, yeah. So I figured the Chiefs, like Morris LeGrand, was a shoo-in, and he couldn't even win that. So tough.
Incredibly tough. Do you think Simmons wins it this year for the Chiefs? I mean, he played half the season.
I mean, yeah. Because who else would it be? I mean,
not Norman Lott. Probably not Gelati.
Could have been
probably not.
Played him, but
right, probably not Noel. Definitely not Brashard Smith.
It'd be funny as hell if they gave it to Brashard Smith.
I mean, he has to win it by default, right? Like,
plus when he played, he was awesome.
Yeah,
he'll win. Yeah, I was looking at the history of that award. Maurice Leggett won it 2008. Boy, those were dark times.
Yeah,
Clyde Edwards-Helaire won it.
He did.
Andrew Wiley won it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they had a good run there for a little bit. You're talking about like after 08, Ryan Suckup, Eric Berry, Justin Houston, Don Terry Poe, Marcus Cooper, DeAnthony Thomas, Marcus Peters, Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt.
It's amazing that like Chris Jones didn't win it because Tyreek Hill was on the team as a rookie.
That's a great point.
Mahomes didn't win it because he and Kelce, both as rookies, didn't play.
They gave it in 2003. They could have definitely. Yeah, Mahomes did win it. That's a good point. They gave it to two people in 2003. Jimmy Wilkerson and Kavika Mitchell is who they gave it in 2003. They probably could have given it to two people in 2016.
They could have. And who the hell's Jimmy Wilkerson?
It's a great point. I acted like we all knew who I was talking about, but I didn't know who I was talking about.
I mean, I was a high schooler. I lived and died with them, and I don't even remember it. Jimmy Wilkerson, my God.
Yeah, I mean,
he was on the team.
He had a heart attack recently.
God bless him. But I mean,
yeah, about a year ago.
He was there for 5 years, man. Like, I'm just like genuinely shocked. By the way, Ultimate Chief, right? Like, was there for 5 years and had one combined sack, and then immediately had 11 sacks the next 2 years.
Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah. I mean, Kavika Mitchell. I knew who Kavika Mitchell is.
He was a good player.
Yeah.
With the Giants, won Super Bowl at Spags.
Mm-hmm. I know that we had him. I think that was the time that Sean Barber was on that 03 team. Actually, led the team in tackles. And the 2003 playoff game against Peyton Manning, where they couldn't. That 2003 defense could not stop a nosebleed, and Peyton Manning and Edgerrin James just like ran and threw.
I was 15 years old watching that. I watched it from a bar.
Hell yeah, dude! That's it.
I had a high school hockey game that night, and I had to be near the arena, so my dad and I went to a bar and watched it. Didn't even bat an eye. 15-year-old at the bar watching the game. Yeah, God.
Those were the days, man.
Yeah.
2003.
Sit there and just chain smoke in high school. Nobody stopped you. Now everybody's, secondhand.
Right.
But anyway, we're at an hour and 31 minutes. So.
We are at an hour and 31 minutes. Who won it last year? The Mackley Hill. Because it only has on Wikipedia that I'm looking at right now is Rashee Rice is the last one.
Last year, I'm just trying to think of the draft class.
24.
It had to be worthy, right?
Yeah, it would have had to been.
Yeah.
There's no way it would have been anybody else, right?
Hunter Northside? It'd be great. Yeah, it's got to be worthy. Had to be.
Yeah, Xavier Worthy 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be Simmons this year. Maybe we'll probably talk about that because what the fuck else are we going to talk about? But we appreciate you guys sticking all the way an hour and 40 minutes into this podcast. Thank you guys. As we hopefully got you ready for NFL action. I know we didn't talk a lot about Chiefs Titans, but I don't know if you guys really wanted to hear a lot about Chiefs Titans.
We don't want to see anybody hurt themselves, so we decided not to talk about that game.
True, very much. That's going to do it. Thank you to our sponsors, Ben Holiday Bottle and Bond Bourbon. Make sure you have plenty on hand if you are watching Chiefs and Titans. I know that we will because we'll have the KCSN postgame show live for you right when that game goes final. We will be live, and then Matt and I will record a podcast right after that as well. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll wait till the good games get done, and then we'll record a podcast is maybe how we should do that. But we'll figure that out. That's for us to figure out, not for you guys to figure out. We will talk to you after the Chiefs play another football game that doesn't mean anything. See you then. Yeah.